Hi everyone, it's Wendy, just back again, just in the midst of just chillaxing this afternoon and creating a few watercolour gifts. I've made a few for workmates over the last couple of months and just want to make sure that people don't miss out and just making up a few more. So today will just be a little bit of a natter, just while I'm working away. So I just taped down my sides there. So I've started using these. They're the Academy watercolour paper pad, and they've been very nice to use. They're a watercolour block, so there's less warping because the paper is glued down on either side. There's just a little tab that you open up to take it out afterwards. It's a nice heavy paper of 300 GM, so it's quite nice to work with. 100% cotton, and it's acid free. So just two, one's rough and one is actually a smooth one there. So I'm not sure what I'm going to paint. It's the paints that I use here. These ones are the Winsor and Newton brand. They are the tube paints, and I've just put them out onto the pans. So I'm just going to start just doing a few botanicals today, just to line down and just being very light with my brushwork. Here I'm just pushing down and just lifting up. Once again, coming from the stem down and just lifting. So while I've been on holidays, it's been an interesting time to reflect. Using art is a great therapy, even just for myself. Just stopping thinking allows you just to switch off, refocus and recenter the world. So sometimes I come into these little sessions not sure what I'm going to paint. I haven't got a reference photo. At the moment I'm just painting just some little stems and leaves here. I can do this without thinking about anything much. I just find this very soothing, just an easier process to follow. So as you can see, these are very light at the moment. I'm going to build up in colours shortly, but my first layer has just been very light. You see that some leaves may not be totally complete, but that's okay. So for me, the leaves, it's all just about brush control. I start with the tip and I'm just moving down with the brush, just lifting up to give that point. So it's just a slow, easy process. I'm just going to dry this off. Okay, I'm going to use just a thinner brush. And that one was my size 5, and this one is a size 4, just slightly smaller. I'm going to use the same colour, but I'm going to change this time the pattern that I'm going to be using. Maybe. As I said, sometimes I'm not quite sure where I'm going to go with these images. I think I might make this a little bit darker. So more pigment this time. So my holidays so far have been absolutely fantastic. I've been visiting family and friends, and I had the opportunity while I was visiting my old home country town of teaching a couple of art classes. It was fantastic to catch up with all the locals. I had a huge turnout, which was very surprising. Some classes were absolutely jam-packed. Had to be very cautious and minding of self-isolation, just to make sure that people were doing the correct thing. It worked out quite well. It has been a very crazy time this year, and I hope everyone is keeping safe and well. As a healthcare professional, we see a lot of stuff that goes on. It's a bit daunting at times and concerning that maybe not everyone is adhering to some of the warnings that are in place, but generally most people are doing really well. Okay, I've just dried that little fellow off. You can see by just increasing the concentration of the same colour how you can get just those different tones in there. So this time I'm going to go for a different green. Got a very messy palette. I need to clean off some of it. So both of these are a hooker green. One is a light and one is a dark hooker green. Just using that same process as I did before. So I'm using a wet on dry process today, so the pad is dry. It's not wet at all. I'm just dropping in those colours. Always liked working with watercolours. I used to do a lot of acrylics, a lot of mixed media, and it's only come about initially. I was doing the unboxings for Two Sisters Art, and they've had a couple of watercolour samples over the last couple of years that I kind of like enjoyed working with them. But by following the 100-day challenge and just doing a new watercolour every day, I've been able to expand on my techniques and learn so much more. There are a lot of fantastic watercolour courses available out there, both for free and also paid ones. And all offer some really good tips and advice. Okay, I'm liking where that's going. I'm just going to dry this off again and just come in with a little bit more colour. Okay, I'm just going to pick up that lighter. And I'm just going to do a bit of splattering, just to fill in a little bit of those gaps. And I'm also going to get that darker one as well. I'm just going to finish drawing this off, and then I'm going to come back and of course add a little bit of gold. Now this gold, it's a yellow gold, and it's the Gansai Tambi, I think that's how you pronounce it. Beautiful metallic paints that they have available. Their range of gold watercolor paints is just divine. I love just mixing it up, and eventually it becomes beautiful, smooth, thick paint. You see it glimmer and move around on that pan. I've tried a couple of different tube paints and they have been quite good, but I really do always fall back to these pans. So I'm using the thicker brush again, the size 5. Just putting that stem in. I have watched a lot of CC Creations. She makes some gorgeous artwork. I think through watching her and her use of gold, I have simply fallen in love with it. Some of my paintings I don't think are complete until I have got gold on them. In this particular brand, I think they're so vibrant that they really do jump out and become a statement themselves. So each working with the watercolours, it's just a slow process of just building up the layers, starting with the lighter and building up to those darker colours. So I don't use all of the space. I like keeping a bit of negative space. I think sometimes that helps with the actual image. Mind you, there are other times where I use a lot of blocks. I'll be doing a few more paintings later today and tonight where I like making very elongated landscapes at the moment. Just adds to the image, and when I do those, I basically do paint in every piece of the paper. I do use a broad margin when I'm doing those landscapes. I just think it helps frame the paintings that I'm doing. You see that gold just jumps right off the page. And just one more lift down. Okay, it's just getting a little bit drier and a little bit more. And I'm just going to put in a few little dots here and there. Okay, well, I'm just using a size 0 brush here and just a bit of black watercolour just finishing it off. Okay. Thank you all very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed my little chill out session. So I'll be doing a few more. So the paints that I'm using, I'll put the links below. The bulk of my art supplies I do get from Two Sisters Art, and her Tanya's link will be below as well. I hope you have a beautiful, lovely day ahead of you. Let's hope the rest of the year goes a little bit better than it has. Okay, thank you very much for watching.